Hi, my name is River Wolfston. I'm the counselor here in Canyons Online, also your virtual helicopter pilot. Today we are in Egypt. We're in Giza and Cairo, Egypt. They're really close to each other. So we're facing south right now. You'll see the desert is off to our right, and then you'll see this green kind of lush that is off to our left. The Nile is directly in front of us right now. We're going to go over the pyramid complex here, just to our left. We're going to kind of fly through, identify some of the pyramids. Directly in front of us is the governorate of Giza, and then just across the Nile River is the city of Cairo, which is the capital of Egypt. So here on our left, that pyramid right there, that is the pyramid of Khafre. And then you're going to see kind of a little pyramid off to the right, the lower right. That is a tomb of one of the queens. I can't remember how to pronounce her name at the moment. Then now you're going to see to our left is the Great Pyramid. Also, that is the pyramid of Khufu. And then you're going to see kind of in front of the helicopter down, that is the Great Sphinx. You'll notice that, well, you might notice the helicopter we're flying today is a little bit different than I normally would be flying, because this is a Bell 407. It's a new helicopter added to the simulator that I like to fly, and I really enjoy it because it's a little bit more responsive, a little bit smaller and lighter. So if I'm a little bit jerkier in flying than I normally would be, that's because I'm learning a new thing. You might notice those a collection of look like sandstone buildings on either side of the pyramid. The one right by the nose of the helicopter, that's the eastern cemetery, and the one on the other side is the western cemetery. So like pharaohs would have the pyramid, but other people who are a little bit less high in rank and stuff would also be mummified and buried in these cemeteries. So, yeah. You'll also notice the buildings at the base of the pyramid. Those are like visitor centers and things. If you were to come and buy tickets and take a tour of the complex in real life, then that's where you would go into some museums and such. There's that Eastern Cemetery I was talking about. Then we're facing north, so north would be, Giza would be to our right-hand side. You can see the Sphinx is, I'm kind of lowering down, so the Sphinx is like right under the helicopter right now. See if I can maneuver around a little bit and get out of the way so you can see better. Just to kind of feather the controls a little bit. Alright, and this is what it looks like from inside the cockpit, so you can pretend like you're flying right here alongside me. Okay, so there's the Great Sphinx off to our left a little bit. It's a little bit more clear so you can see it better. Now here is a map, so you can see the Eastern Cemetery, the Western Cemetery, the Great Pyramid of Khufu. You can see the Pyramid of Khafre that we talked about, the Great Sphinx, that's where we're hovering over right now. You can see the tomb of the Queen that I mentioned. You can see there is the other pyramid, the Pyramid of Menkaure, which is further off to the left there. So you can see the three of them. And now I'm going to fly us through the complex. As we're flying through, ask yourself, what are you curious about? What do you wonder about? What was it like thousands of years ago when this was brand new? What was it like when they were building them? who came up with the idea to build pyramids that way? And how long did they build them that way? How, if the pyramids were alive, what would they have to say? I think it's really interesting to look at the amount of erosion and weathering that's happened over the years. You can see some of the stones have crumbled at the bottom there. And then they are sandstones. They erode over time. So here's a bunch of the buildings, visitor center. You can see the buses off to our left. That's where you would, where they would let you off if you were here touring. Here is that Western Cemetery on our right, and then the Pyramid of Khafre on our left. And you can see kind of another, we wouldn't really say city, I think they call them governorates here in Egypt. So there's the area that's like modern, that's used for modern purposes. I think there's even a little football stadium there, a little soccer stadium, and schools, buildings, and then there's desert, because that's all of the ancient protected stuff. So I'll give you one kind of final view. And then we're going to descend a little bit, pick up a little bit of speed. And we'll head off to see a couple other locations, a couple other sites. And after that, we'll fly through Giza, and then we'll go over the Nile, and then we'll go over into Cairo. We'll fly through the city of Cairo a little bit. And that'll be our flight for today. Okay, so I'm going to face us off toward our next destination. Pick up a little bit of speed, see if I can get to about 100 kilometers, or sorry, 100 knots or so. And then I'm going to do something fun to kind of save a little bit of time and to go back to my childhood, being a little girl in the 80s, watching Airwolf with my grandpa, and I'll hit the turbos and speed us over there like way faster than helicopters are able to fly. Here's this internal view. I really enjoy this helicopter because the controls are so simple. Nothing's automated. Nothing's computer. It's just simple, pure joy of flying. So this is off to our right, which is off to the west. Directly ahead of us. And then my seat, your seat, the co-pilot there. And then off there is farmland. Let's go ahead and turn on the radio here, get a little mood music. All right, and that brings us down here. So that pyramid off to our right, that is the pyramid of Dozer, pyramid of Djoser. I wish maybe some of our students who are from Egypt can correct my pronunciation, but that is the pyramid that we're going to see right now, and then we'll fly over to the other two that you see off to our right. But let's go ahead and creep up on the pyramid of, I'm just going to call it the pyramid of Dozer. And then you'll also see there's like the tomb of Horemheb is just off past it. And there's like the Imhotep Museum is just right directly in front of us now. It's not presently open, but of note, Imhotep is actually the name of the mummy from the Mummy movies. So I wonder if there's like a connection of the story or something. I don't know. But as we're coming up on the Pyramid of Dozer, I want you to really look at it and see what are some similarities with the other pyramids that we've flown over today, and what are some differences. And then as we go over to the other two, I want you to also be thinking about that. So what are some differences in the way that this one looks, the way that's been constructed? And why do you think those differences exist? Maybe like color and size, shape. Why would there be differences? Whoa, Nelly, you gotta. Like I said, I'm learning the controls, getting a little bit out of hand here. There we go. I'll come back in and get us a little bit more stabilized, then we can keep right on going. And then you'll notice the modern buildings out here, where I imagine they store artifacts, and I imagine that they do a lot of research of scientific exploration out here. All right, well, if there's no other questions or observations or anything, I'm going to go ahead, get us facing toward our next destination. All right, that brings us over here. I want you to think as we fly past this one. I want you to think, what do you think the name of this pyramid is? What do you think it's known as? Look at the color of it. Okay, so that one is known as the Red Pyramid. I want you to kind of be observing similarities and differences with the others. And then directly in front of us, some people call this the Bent Pyramid, but other people know it as the White Pyramid. And I'd like to think about like the geography of where we are, the geology of where we are, what these are made out of. Why would one of them be red and one of them be white? Look at the color of the sand around where we are. Where do you think they got the building materials to make these pyramids? Okay. If you've ever been to southern Utah, you know how some sand is very red, some is whiter. But look at this pyramid, how much erosion. It looks like this one's been almost completely washed away. And then down there, directly in front of us, to the south, is like Luxor and the Valley of the Kings and things like that. So now we're going to go ahead, we'll make a banking right turn, and we are going to fly over some of the fertile farmland. As we're learning about Egypt, you learn that the fertile farmland is here because the Nile, if you remember, it floods, which makes the ground really fertile over there. So you can kind of see where it floods and where it doesn't, historically. So I'm going to fly us over some of the more modern parts of, or at least, they're modern now, of Giza, and then we'll kind of hang a left, head a little bit more north, and up into Cairo, which is actually the capital of Egypt, on the other side of the river here. So directly in front of us, you'll see the Nile River is the force of life for Egypt is the Nile. That's why it features so prominently in what you're learning about Egypt, is because without water, there is no life. We'll go ahead and we'll fly over. And I have a lot less to say on the other side of the river. So I just want you to observe the architecture, observe what it would be like. As I'm flying over, I'm thinking how much like Salt Lake City this is. I mean, without the mountains, or like flying over in Tooele, and over into the Bonneville Salt Flats and stuff. I mean, this looks a lot like where we live. And as we come around, you'll see directly in front of us, there are what looks like some big roads. That's actually an airport. So we're gonna fly over the airport, and then we'll adjust course and fly up to Cairo. And this is almost like flying past downtown Salt Lake. There's some smaller buildings, but then there's some skyscrapers, a lot of the government offices, some universities. If you look really closely, you'll be able to see Tahrir Square, which was featured in where a lot of the protesters gathered back in the 2000s. So yeah, this is modern Egypt, a modern city, just like we are. So that's one of the reasons I like history so much, and geography, is because we are all connected: the past, the present, the future, and even thousands of years ago with the pyramids. It's not that long ago. That brings us to the end of our flight today. Thanks for joining me as we've toured the pyramids and Giza and Cairo. I will see you next time. Have a good day.